Good morning. I had to double check see what time it was. It is shit. Let me double check what day it is. I think it's Thursday. It is Thursday, February 17th, 9:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, local time here in Laredo, Texas. I am on the north side of Laredo. There there are like three truck stops. There's a TA, a Flying J, and a Pilot. In a little, I don't know, a warehouse district, an industrial park, whatever you want to call it. And I've been bouncing around between the TA and the Flying J because of shower credits and food and stuff like that. So what's going on with me? Let's get caught up with what's been going on. I'm kind of bored, so I thought I'd do a video. And I've really been thinking about like stopping the trucker vlog thing and just kind of like just going pure ramble on the videos. It's starting to become, I don't know, something I don't look forward to. Like whenever I go 2 or 3 weeks, oh my god, I got a load alert. Oh, Albuquerque, and these Albuquerque loads require an empty trailer, preloaded, empty trailer needed. Yep. So we'll talk more about that in a second. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that. Up to this point, I've documented pretty much everything that I've done in trucking. I've video logged everything, and I think I have enough information out there that people can get an idea of what trucking is like and how much money you can make at USA Truck, how much you can make at Landstar. Like I've shown tons of load board stuff. I've shown like everything that I make, and still there are idiots out there that just have no idea what's going on and they give their dumbass opinions. I was just arguing with somebody on the truckers subreddit. Some moron was out there saying you can't make any money as an owner operator, and they've like never been an owner operator. Like what the fuck is with people out there? Like somebody's asking, "Hey, I'm thinking about becoming a truck driver and I'm wanting to maybe become an owner operator because I hear you can make a lot of money." What drives people who have no fucking idea what they're talking about to jump in and provide some life advice to this person on what they should do financially? I replied to them a couple of times because this person was a fucking moron, and I tried to like explain to them like all these people out here that don't have any idea what they're talking about, that are jumping in and giving their opinion and stating it as fact. It's like somebody who's only ever worked at McDonald's in their life going out and giving everyone else career advice. You have no place giving everyone else career advice. You don't know what you're talking about. You need to be asking the questions, not like answering them. But anyway, I digress a little bit. So yeah, I might stop doing the whole vlogging thing, but we'll go ahead and do it in this video. I'll get you caught up. I'll give you the short version, not the detailed version of what's been going on with me. So I left my house. I was home for a month. I left my house and went from Oklahoma City to San Bernardino. There was a whole bunch of drama with trailers and putting trailers in the shop and everything. There are so many idiots in this industry that don't inspect their equipment and just leave the problems for the next person. I had to put the first trailer in the shop, and then I had one of the I made a video of having that blowout I had, the flat tire. So I had to have a road call done. I had to get that first trailer that I picked up in Oklahoma City worked on twice, and I had to get the trailer that I picked up in San Bernardino worked on twice. Um, oh my God, I hate dropping hooks because there's so many idiots out here that just don't inspect the equipment, and these these trailers, they have so many people using them for such long periods of time that don't inspect them and they don't get problems resolved, that the problems compile. they get worse and worse. Like whenever you have something broken on the truck, if you don't get it fixed right away, it can lead to other problems. So yeah, it's just frustrating dealing with this crap. But anyway, after I delivered in San Bernardino, I drove north out of San Bernardino to Hesperia, California. You know what? Let me pull up a map for anybody who is not like into geography. Let me pause this. All right, so we're over in the LA metro. That's where we're looking at. Let me zoom out so you can see where in the hell we're at. So we're way over on the west coast of the U.S. I went from Oklahoma City to San Bernardino. Now, where I delivered to the FedEx in San Bernardino is right on the northern border of San Bernardino. It's this mountain. This is a really nasty mountain pass right here. Not because it's steep or curvy or anything like that. It's a really nasty mountain pass because traffic is crazy through this area. It's absolutely insane. You'll be going down a 6% grade and then all of a sudden traffic is completely stopped. That is really common. Just stop and go traffic through this mountain pass when you're going up and down 6% grades. Yeah, it's really common through there. But anyway, I drove north out of San Bernardino back through the mountain pass, which I just drove through to get to San Bernardino. And then up here in Hesperia, I'm not sure where exactly it's at in Hesperia. Right there it is. Pilot Travel Center. So not too terribly far. I think it's a 15-mile drive from the FedEx terminal. And let's pull it out to right there. I go over here into the central LA metro area, Ontario, California. And this is where, right here is Ontario. There's a Petro and a TA. Right here they are. The TA is right here, and the Petro is right across the street from it. This Petro right here, that's where I normally go after I deliver in the LA Metro. That's where I wait on my next load. But because of the weather, I suspected that I was going to be hanging out at the truck stop for an extended period of time. Normally, I don't have any issues getting a load out of the LA area, so I'm perfectly fine with going to the Petro and paying $25 a day for parking because you can just buy stuff in the store and it counts towards your $25 a day. So I just buy food and oil, whatever it is I need out of their shop or their store to cover for my parking. And that's fine for a day or two, but anything longer than that, I don't want to be there. So that's the reason I went to the Pilot. They don't charge for parking. And I ended up sitting there for roughly 11 days. And I sat there that long mainly because of the weather. There were some loads that I could take that were staying out of the weather, but the rates on loads that were staying out of the weather running down across I-10, the rates dropped significantly because people were trying to stay out of the weather. To give you an idea of how much they dropped, normally a load from the LA area to Florida pays about $10,000. The good paying loads generally pay 10 grand. The good paying loads dropped down to 8 grand, and they were getting covered within a couple of minutes. They weren't staying on the load board for very long. The stuff that was staying on the load board was cheaper than that. So I wasn't really wanting to haul a bargain basement load. I wasn't desperate to move. I was having fun with my time off, hanging out in the truck, playing video games and stuff like that. And then finally, a load that was staying out of the weather that was paying really well popped up on the load board. And it picks up in Calexico, California. Down here, right on the Mexico border off of I-8 is Calexico. So I deadheaded from Hesperia down to Calexico, 180-mile deadhead approximately. And I picked up a load that was going to, let's zoom out, going to Laredo, Texas, which is where I'm at right now. The load paid $9,000. 8,500 line haul. Let's see if Google can do this. 8,500 line haul. 8,500 times 0.65 plus 500. I'm not sure if Google can do that shit. Yay, it did it. Google figured out what I was trying to do. So The $9,000, the way it breaks down is it's 8,500 line haul, 500 fuel surcharge. So I got 65% of the $8,500, and I got all of the $500 fuel surcharge. I get 100% of that. So that comes out to $6,025 is what I made on the load, going somewhere in the area of 1,300 miles from uh, Calexico, California to Laredo, Texas. Now, the really big negative with this load is that it's a drop trailer, not a drop and hook. A drop and hook means that you're getting an empty trailer. You're going to get a trailer after you drop your trailer. This is just a drop. So I bobtailed out. I dropped it off at a customs transfer broker and bobtailed over to the truck stop. And that's where I've been ever since then. I delivered the load Monday morning. It's now Thursday morning. Landstar has, let's flip this back over to me. Landstar has some really terrible policies on how they manage trailers in and out of Mexico. So basically, I'm being forced to haul a load that's coming from Mexico into the United States. And I have my load alerts set up. Let me show you my load alerts. Let me pause this while I get that page pulled up. All right. Well, I'm not going to show you the search page. It has some personal info on there, and I really don't want to spend a half hour creating a scene that blurs out the personal info. Let me see if there's an easier way. Let me pause this. Let me take one more look. There we go. I found an easy way to do it. I just added in a little black box to cover up some personal information there. So this is the load alert that I have set up. It's really basic. So what do I have set up here? The only loads that I can haul are preloaded trailers coming from Mexico into the U.S. that are at the Landstar LMO terminal. So I only want to see loads in Laredo, Texas, 0-mile radius from today over the next 7 days. And my destination, I have it set up to only show me destinations that are near here. So basically, it's California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas. I think as far north as Iowa. I think I might also have Mississippi in there, and maybe Kentucky. So it's a fairly large area around Texas that I have my destination set up as, but I really don't want to be hauling a load out of Laredo a really long distance or up into the north while we're still in the winter. The reason I don't really want to haul them a long distance is because these loads are so damn cheap. So I also, what do we got here? Some agent texting me. It's Elvis from the Landstar, from the Landstar. Really, the Landstar. Is this like the Ohio State University? It's Elvis from the Landstar. I have a load from Laredo, Texas. Boy, from okay. Let me show you. Let me see if I can do this without block. Let me block out their phone number. God, that's even worse. There's multiple places where I have to block out their number. Let me try bringing it. Let's go over to this right here and let me block out. Is that the only place the phone number is showing at now? Yeah, that's the only place the phone number is showing at now. Up at the top, it disappeared. So it's Elvis from the Landstar. I have a load from Laredo, Texas, 1,905, Boise, Idaho, 16,000 pounds, $8,000. Let me know if you are interested. Tricks. Boise, Idaho. That's a lot of mountain driving. uh, Basically, to get to Boise from where I'm at, there's a couple of different routes that you could take, but the most efficient route would most likely be to take 25 up through Denver, and then 80. Take 25 all the way up to 80 in Laramie, and then or Cheyenne, and then 80 all the way across Wyoming in the winter, and then drive across Utah, and in Salt Lake, bypass Salt Lake on the 84 or whatever it is, and take the 84 on up into Boise. $8,000. Do I want to drive 2,000 miles across like all the mountain passes in the winter? No, I don't. So let's get back to the search filters I have set up. So the I don't have like a minimum revenue. I just have the minimum rate per mile set at $2.50 a mile. So this rate per mile is the full rate per mile. It's an all-inclusive rate per mile. So like the last load I hauled that was $9,000 and it was roughly like 1,300 miles. The rate per mile on that load was $7.52 per mile, if I remember correctly. So I get approximately 65% of the full rate. So $2.50 a mile, let's bust out some math on that. So 2.5 times 0.65, I only make about $1.63 a mile on a load that's paying $2.50 a mile. That is a really cheap load. I don't haul loads this cheap. The only reason I have my rate, normally I set my minimum rate per mile at $3.50 a mile. And I don't even like hauling stuff close to that. But I have it set so low because I'm in a predicament where I'm limited on what loads I can take. So I don't have any, max number of stops set. I don't have minimum revenue set, minimum miles, max miles. I don't have any of that set. And that's another thing I could do is I could put a max mileage on it, and I could get rid of all of these state filters. Instead of like setting it up to only go to certain states, I could just put a maximum mileage on it. I don't want to haul it over 1,000 miles or something, but that's not the way I have it set up. Trailer groups, I have everything that I can haul selected. Basically, van and power only. So if there is some weird power only load that pops up, I'll look at it. I don't have a minimum or maximum weight set. I don't have any dimensions set. I don't have hazmat restricted, so it'll show hazmat loads. I don't really have any other settings. It's set to just show any load that's paying a minimum of $2.50 a mile out of the Laredo terminal over the next 7 days. And let's see the load count. Let's click on load count. There's one load showing up. And it's the load that I just told you about that popped up when I first started making the video. It's the one going to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And in the comments of that load, it says that you have to have an empty trailer, so I can't haul that load. I'm looking specifically for a load that's coming over from Mexico that does not require an empty because I don't have an empty. And that's the only way that I can get an empty. So now let's go ahead and click on search, and it'll show that one load going to Laredo. And we can look at the details on that. And down here in the comments, contact Irma. But her email is for Teresa. Irma, are you using Teresa's email? Preloaded, empty trailer needed. Laredo, Texas is about the only place that you're going to see that in the comments on preloaded trailers very commonly. And it's because people are down here looking for preloaded trailers that don't require an empty. There's a lot of people in similar positions to what I'm in looking for these trailers. So let's go back and see if there's like something that's even cheaper, because these loads are generally like really cheap loads. So, what the hell? What happened to my damn. Why did it clear out the search? All right, I just reloaded my. So let's get rid of the minimum rate per mile. That's about the only thing that I have set. All my other settings, I I can't haul step deck. So, all right, let's look at the load count. There's still only one load. Let's clear out all of my destination limitations and look at the load count. Now I have 60 loads. If I get rid of my places that I'm willing to go, there are 60 loads. So let's look through these 60 loads. These are loads going to places like Boise, Idaho that I don't really want to go to, but there's nothing showing up within like within like 1,000 miles of Laredo. There are no loads going a short, well, 1,000 miles isn't even really a short distance. Um, so let's just look and see what we got here. And I can tell you right now, I recognize the agency names on these. This HEM agency, they always require an empty. Oh my God, almost all of these loads are by the HEM agency, and they put that you need an empty in the comments of almost every one of their loads. Must drop empty trailer, on site overnight parking at the receiver. Yeah, so I wish there was a way that I could like not show loads from certain agents, because almost all of these loads are with this HEM agency, and all of their loads that I've looked at have that in the comment that you need an empty trailer. And the few that don't have it in the comments are probably just because they forgot. But let's look where all this crap's going. So these loads up here at the top that are paying the most are going to Canada. I've never been out of the country, and I don't plan on going out of the country, especially with all the drama that's going on in Canada right now. I don't want to deal with that bullshit. They're cracking down on truck drivers. There's a huge trucker protest going on up there, and I am not going to deal with that. Also, there are certain territories or provinces in Canada that I can't drive in because your truck has to be governed at 65 miles per hour or less to drive in certain places. So there's a whole bunch of reasons I don't want to mess with Canada. Prineville, Oregon is out in the middle of fucking nowhere in Oregon, and I would have to drive across even more mountains than going to Boise. I would have to drive across all the mountains that I drive across going to Boise, and then some. Let's check. I don't even know if I could haul the load. This is a decent paying load going to Prineville, Oregon. Sergio doesn't really have anything in the comments. Picks up today and delivers on the 21st, which is Monday. Yeah, I'm not really wanting to drive through the mountains. And then we have a whole bunch of loads going to New York State. Every single one of those loads is going to New York State, and they are all by the HEM agency. They're almost all Brooklyn, New York. Staten Island. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not driving into Brooklyn or Staten Island. This one's going to Hicksville, New York. Is that out in the country? I don't know. Let's look at the comments. They don't have any comments on the load. Let's look at one of their other ones, see if they have comments on one of the other New York loads. They don't have anything about needing an empty on them. They probably just forgot to put it in the comments. Here's a bunch of loads going to Massachusetts by the same agency, the HEM agency. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I've been there, I think. Hazmat load that's really heavy, 41,500 pounds of hazmat that's paying $3.55 a mile to go to Pennsylvania. Oh, joy. Reno, Nevada, 341 a mile. It's 18,000 pounds. Empty trailer is needed. So even the ones like Staten Island and Brooklyn, that's a big fuck no for that. There's absolutely zero chance. Even if those loads were paying like 15 grand, there would be zero chance I'd haul those loads. But like Reno, Nevada, I'm kind of like, man, that's driving over through Wyoming and Utah, and then the eastern side of Nevada has some decent little mountains that you're driving through, hills or mountains, whatever you want to call them. But Reno, I used to live there. It's kind of a tempting load, but it's paying kind of crap. It's not a great load, but it's like a mediocre load. Needs an empty. So even the loads that are like, I don't really want to haul that, uh, they're on here because they require an empty. The loads that don't require an empty that are even half decent disappear off this board really quick. Empty required to go to Florida. And this one has a second stop in Brownwood, Texas, not Brownsville, Brownwood, Texas. I don't want to go all the way up to Illinois. Let's look at the Illinois load. This one is like, doesn't have any extra stops on it. It's $4. This is a decent load. Let's see if it requires an empty. Yep, empty needed. Because, like I said, if they're like decent loads and they don't require an empty, they're going to get covered really quick. The ones that don't require an empty are usually just like really, really bad. All right, we have a whole bunch of New Jersey loads not happening. Colorado is worse than Florida. It's worse to go to Colorado than Florida. We got a couple of Centennial Colorado loads. They're paying $4.66 a mile. They're only 10,000 pounds, but $5 a mile is fairly standard to take a load into Colorado. And I don't really want to bother with a load to Colorado for the normal $5 a mile. I would be wanting like $9+ a mile to take a load into California, or not California, but Colorado. But let's look at it anyway. They don't have any notes. Mattresses, bedding, and we have a bunch of those Illinois loads posted. Let's see, North Carolina. All right, this is a different agency. I don't think I've looked at this agency before. Oh, that load is no longer available. That load has been covered since I refreshed this page. So somebody has gotten this load. What is it? It's $3.14 a mile. That's pretty cheap. 40,000 pounds of general goods going from Laredo to North Carolina. They have 3 of these loads. Let's look at another one. Gone. All right, let's look at the last one. Gone. So most likely what this is, it's highly unlikely that they covered 3 loads and since I refreshed the page. Most likely what this was this agent listed the exact same load 3 different times because it can be picked up on 3 different dates. If you notice, every single one of these loads has the exact same delivery date, February 22nd at 8 a.m. But they have 3 different pickup dates. You can pick it up on the 17th, 18th, or 19th. What this dumbass agent probably does not comprehend is that you can set a pickup date range from like the 17th through the 19th instead of listing the load 3 different times for 3 different pickup days. They could have listed it one time with a big pickup window, but it's probably like if they did it that way, then they would have to list it as being able to be picked up from 8 a.m. on the 17th all the way until midnight on the 19th. And based on the hours they're posting on these loads, it looks like this place is closed from midnight to 8 a.m. But you can pick it up anytime outside those hours that it's closed. I don't know why they didn't just list it one time and then down in the comments put the hours of operation of the place. But it looks like they just listed the exact same load 3 different times. All right, we got one going to Brunswick, Georgia. Man, my last time I went to Georgia, I got really pissed off at how cheap the freight was over there. That was a load going to Jacksonville, Florida, and I got really pissed off with how cheap the freight was. I drove up to Georgia, and it was just crap. All right, Oscar doesn't have anything in here on whether or not it needs an empty. Tampa, Florida. That's the Albuquerque, New Mexico load we've already looked at. We got a whole bunch of Atlanta, Georgia loads with the HEM agency. I would say probably 70% of the loads on this page are with this HEM agency. Empty trailer needed. Almost all of their loads have empty trailer needed in the comments. I think every single one of their loads requires an empty, and they just forget to put it in the comments of some of the loads. So yeah, let me pause. Oh, I don't have to pause it. I've got everything filtered out. We can just go back to the search page. There is one search filter I think I might have set. Let's switch this. Do you want to discard? Yeah, I want to discard the changes I made. All right. Now, I think I have it set up to only show direct shipper. Let's go with all. Look at load count. So there's 5. So there might be some loads that are not listed as direct shipper loads. Everything at the LMO terminal should be a direct shipper loads, but some agents are stupid. They screw up on these listings all the time, and they may be forgetting to check the box that it is a direct shipper load. So let's check the non-direct shipper loads. So we've got 3 loads going, 2 to Lubbock, 1 to Fort Worth, and 1 to Mesquite, Texas. Let's look at all of these and see if any of these are all fairly short loads. So the one going to Lubbock, empty required. Next one going to Lubbock, empty required. The one going to Fort Worth, empty required. And the one going to Mesquite, Texas, empty required. So, yeah. So that's let's go back over to just me. That's the story of my life right now. Is like there aren't any loads that I can pick up. I'm very, very limited on the loads that I can take. And I'm not willing to take a load up to Boise or somewhere else driving through the mountains in the snow. So I'm just kind of like sitting around waiting for an empty trailer, which is not a problem. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm enjoying my time off. If I You know, the only thing that really sucks is that I don't have the option of just deadheading home. Like, if I just get bored of sitting around, I don't have the option to just deadhead home. It's only 600 miles. I've deadheaded from Laredo to my house before. I don't have a problem with it. The reason that I can't do it is because of Landstar policies and procedures. The only place that I can get my next trailer is from the LMO terminal. You know what? There is one other option, the SOS loads. Let's return to search. And in all honesty, the SOS loads should have, well, no, I have it set to only show loads within 0 miles of Laredo. Let's look at loads within 500. You know what? Let's just, I don't know if I want to look at every single, I want to clear out. All right, let's just do this for now. Let's just look at 500 miles and let's look at agency SOS. And let's do a load count. How many are there? None. Absolutely none. Okay, let's clear out the search. Why is it not clearing out the search? Discard. Yes. I think I hit no. All right. Now we'll do SOS. And we're going to look at every single SOS load. Let's look at load count. 5. There are 5 total SOS loads with Landstar right now. So we got one in Virginia, South Carolina, Arkansas, Illinois, and Kentucky. So Searcy, Arkansas is a pretty damn good drive from where I'm at, but it's not too terribly far. But it's going to North Carolina. It's heavy as shit, and it pays next to nothing. This is the big problem with SOS loads is they pay almost nothing. I'm like, why in the hell are these people even hauling this shit? Here's one that's paying pretty decent. That's dry van. This one up here that looks like it's paying decent, this is step deck. And I'm not going to drill down into that to see if it's over-dimensional or anything like that. But this one is supposedly a van. It's paying $6 a mile, but it's only going 200 miles. That sounds awesome. $6 a mile sounds great. Hey, what if I were paying you $6 a mile to haul a load 10 miles? Is 60 bucks to haul a load worth your fucking time? No, it's not. As the mileage decreases, the rate per mile has to increase for it to still be a good load. $6 a mile doesn't mean it's a good load. There's more information you need to know whether or not it's a good load. You need to know how many miles. You know, something that's going 1,000 miles and paying $6 a mile, that's probably a good load. If it's, a dry van load, it's not some over-dimensional crap. So let's look at the notes on this Searcy, Arkansas load. Must have trailer. This is another thing on why I don't even bother looking at these fucking SOS loads. Is a lot of these jackasses, they are in like some kind of emergency situation. They can't finish the delivery and they're not willing to be without a trailer. They're not willing to go on the trailer wait list. So they won't like let somebody take their load unless they're going to give them a trailer, or you have to give them the trailer back when you're done. Stupid crap like that. And also, the rate that they're paying on these loads, they determine how much they list the load for. So, this load may be paying a total of $10,000, but they're only willing to pay $1,300 for you to, finish delivering it for them. So let's look at some of these others. I'm not driving all the way to Kentucky, but let's look at the comments on this one. Must have trailer. Let's look at this Illinois. This one doesn't say that you must have a trailer. This is the one going from Illinois to Nashville, Tennessee. 200 miles, paying $6 a mile. Not a very good load, but you don't have to have a trailer for that one. Duncan, South Carolina to West Palm Beach, Florida. 366 a mile. Yeah, right. And it has an extra stop. N5. What does N5 stand for? So SO means stop off. College Park, Georgia. N5. N5. What is N5? I don't know what N5 means. There's a lot of room. There's like, they can put a lot of comments in the comment section. I don't know why they feel the need to abbreviate everything, especially with just made up fucking abbreviations. And Virginia to Ocala, Florida, must have trailer. So yeah, this is the frustration that I'm dealing with right now. Sorry, I probably should have flipped you over to browser while I was... I'll flip you over there real quick. There you go. You can see the loads that I was just looking at. But this is the frustration that I'm dealing with in trying to find an empty right now. Basically, I'm just trying to find a short load coming out of the LMO terminal to get a trailer. And there's like, I'm getting almost no load alerts. And the few that I am getting, they require an empty. And that Boise load that Elvis messaged me about, I wonder if, I can't remember if we looked at that one. Did that one require an empty? I'm not going up to Boise. Let's look at the national forecast. Let's go over to browser, and I'm not going to get rid of the black box. National forecast. Laredo, Texas, 83 degrees down here. Sons of bitches. It's toasty. It's nice and cool in the truck, though. Oh my goodness, look at this. There is a major weather event going across the country. Good Lord. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Let's look at tomorrow. Tomorrow is just a lot of snow up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York. And then on Saturday, it's just the really northern states are getting snow. And they only go out 3 days on the national forecast. So yeah, right now we're having a major winter weather event across a large section of the country. Wow. This will be like the second or third snowstorm that's happened at my house since I've been out over the road. The local news had a whole bunch of stuff about, the roads and accidents and snowplows and stuff like that a couple weeks ago in Oklahoma City. There's just like a crazy, crazy number of accidents that are happening across the country. And you know what all those accidents lead to? People getting terminated. You slide off the road and jackknife one of these trucks, you're most likely going to lose your job. If you're leased on somewhere, you're most likely going to lose your contract. If you have your own authority, you're going to see jacked up insurance rates. Your insurance company may drop you. There are severe repercussions whenever you slide off the road and jackknife a truck. You know, that's the reason I don't want to deal with this fucking snow. It's not worth it. It's not like they're paying $20 a mile to haul these loads. This bullshit going to Boise, that's the same fucking rates they pay in the summer. Like, they're not paying any kind of premium to get you to drive on snow and ice and risk your career, risk your life. I mean, that's something that that a lot of people don't even consider. I mean, most people consider the possibility of getting into an accident on whether or not they're willing to drive on snow and ice. But there is also the possibility that you're going to die whenever you get into an accident. So you're risking your health and safety, and if you're an owner operator, you're risking the property that you own. This truck is my property. So I'm risking my well-being, I'm risking my property, and I'm risking my livelihood if I get into an accident. You know, I'd have my contract terminated with Landstar. I could find it very difficult to get leased on somewhere else. And if I decided to get my own authority, the insurance rates would skyrocket if I had a jackknife accident, or, anything, slid off the road. It's just, so, yeah, it's not worth it to me personally to drive in the snow. I don't give a shit what anybody says about me. Call me a fair weather driver, or I fly south for the winter. Any of that stuff. Absolutely, I have earned that privilege. That's the reason I do what I do, is so that I can have those kind of those choices. I can make that decision, because last time I was a truck driver, like 15 years ago, I was at the mercy of the companies, and I was forced to drive in snow and ice a lot. I have more snow and ice experience than most drivers. For anybody who hasn't heard my stories, I used to live in Reno, Nevada, and I ran line haul for a year or two there. And my main line haul route that I ran was from Reno to Sacramento, driving back and forth across Donner Pass twice a day. And I typically, a lot of the times, I was chaining up, going both directions. So, like, chaining twice a day, driving in snow and ice up and down the mountains. I have more winter weather driving experience than most drivers. So, I know how dangerous it is, and I don't want to deal with that nonsense. And that was with doubles. Oh my goodness, that's even worse than hauling one of these trailers. Those trailers get so squirrely on snow and ice. It is like every time I was going downhill when I was chained up, you could only barely touch the brakes. I would push the brakes down just a little bit, and by the time the brakes had dropped me by 5 to 10 miles an hour, that back trailer would already be swung out by like 2 foot. It was those trailers, those doubles were so squirrely on snow and ice. You could not get hard on the brakes hauling doubles. Those trailers would just start passing you. I mean, it was just crazy. And I'm talking about going downhill, not on flat land. But yeah, I saw a lot of crazy shit. I think I've told this story before. One of the craziest things I've ever seen while I was driving. I was going down Donner, hauling doubles, and I was going down some really long, steep grade, and I saw white flashing light in the distance in my mirror coming down the road. I thought it was a snowplow, and it was snowing pretty hard, so I couldn't. My visibility was low, and it wasn't until it got to about the back of my trailer, the back of my second trailer, that I could start to see what it was, and it was a four-wheeler that was just spinning. I think that section of road was 3 lanes wide going down that hill, and this four-wheeler passed me. I was in the far right lane, and this four-wheeler comes by me. They were going maybe, I don't know, 5 miles an hour faster than me. It was a fairly quick pass, but I mean, not like super fast. They didn't just like fly by me. They were going about 5 miles an hour faster than me, just spinning down the 2 lanes to my left. And they were spinning until they went out of my vision. Like I said, it was snowing pretty hard, so I could only see, I don't know, 150 feet, until I couldn't make out their vehicle anymore, and then I could just see the lights, and then their lights eventually disappeared. I don't know what the fuck happened to them. For all I know, they could have slid off the road at the bottom of the hill. I never saw them again. But that's some of the weird shit that happened while I was driving line haul back and forth across Donner. Man, it was. I never want to experience that winter driving crap again. And since I've been back in the industry, the only winter driving I've really done that I can remember was when I was in training at USA Truck, because I got into training in February of 2020, and it was still the winter, and my trainer was going he was on a dedicated run that was mainly um, Dallas to Denver and then Muskogee, Oklahoma. So we were constantly going to Denver. And my very first day behind the wheel of a truck in training out over the road, I drove in snow and ice. They shut the road down on it was I-70 across Kansas, and they shut the road down because I think 5 semis slid off the road within a 1 mile section of road, and they just decided to shut the road down because people were driving too fast for conditions, and there were so many people sliding off the road. So that was my very first day back into trucking. I was like, oh my God, not this crap again. I couldn't wait to become an owner operator to where I could choose what in the hell I was doing and not have to deal with that crap. But oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's what's going on with me. I'm just sitting here. Um, I've been playing a. Is this thing set up to show video games? Let me pause this.
Got it. Huh.
Greetings. Farewell. Whoa.
Let me shut the game down. And I can't remember what else. And then, of course, I have subscriptions for. I've got YouTube TV, Netflix, HBO Max. I'm thinking about turning on Disney Plus. I've been watching a lot of short clips of the movie The Big Short, and I really want to see that movie now. Um, and I think they have it on Disney Plus. And I'm thinking about turning my Disney Plus subscription back on just to watch that one movie. I was I don't talk about uh, finance and world politics and stuff like that very much on this channel, but that is one of my things that I love to research. I love conspiracy theories. I love all that stuff, and all that stuff just kind of like came together with the 2008 2009 crash. I was watching news on that and researching information on that crash a couple of years before it happened. The alternative media outlets were covering that upcoming crash years before it happened, and the mainstream media was still they were ridiculing. This is one of the reasons I just flat out hate the mainstream media is um, I just saw like some of the just I don't even know how to describe it like the way it made me feel. Um, like I was watching a lot of information and doing a lot of research, and I knew people that were in real estate uh, that were telling me what was going on behind the scenes in real estate and stuff like that. So I knew that a crash was about to happen in 2008, 2009, and the mainstream media, all even while the crash was happening, the reporters on mainstream media were ridiculing people that were saying that an economic crash was happening. They're like, oh, this is just a bad day on Wall Street. It happens. It's not the end of the world. And, they were downplaying everything. And that's like the mainstream media is just a fucking propaganda machine, is what it is. Anyway, let's not go there. Let's not what this channel is about. um, but yeah, that's the reason I'm interested in The Big Short so much is because I watched a whole bunch of scenes about it, and it was basically a bunch of people in finance that found out what was going on behind the scenes with those derivatives and that most of the a derivative is basically it's just some type of financial instrument that derives its value from something else, and in this case it was mortgage-backed securities. These were the derivatives, and what they were doing was they were packaging a bunch of junk mortgages, really low credit rating people in with like they would I even talked with a loan officer back then, and they told me the scams that they were running. They were just, I saw this in one of the scenes in the movies. Those loan officers were bragging about the ridiculously stupid shit that they were doing. And I experienced that exact same thing back then. I had a loan officer, and I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, my credit score isn't that bad. Or, my credit isn't that good. Back then, my credit wasn't very good because I just like I was in a really bad roommate situation, and my roommate quit working, and it just drove me into debt to the point where I just had to give everything up, and everything went to collections. But anyway, I had like a 550 credit score, and that's not the case anymore. But and I will never fucking have a roommate again. But anyway, um, I was talking with a loan officer because everybody was buying property back then. My buddy that was in real estate was trying to talk me into buying a place. And so he got me talking with a loan officer, and the loan officer was like, yeah, it doesn't matter what your credit score is because the way we do this is we go and we bundle these together. We'll get like 50 applications and bundle them together, and there will be like 10 people with perfect credit, and then there will be 40 people with bad credit, and they will accept it as a bundled deal, as a package deal. The only way that we'll let them have the good credit is if they take the whole thing. And so all I have to do is package you in with the right people. So if your credit is really really bad, then I might have to package you in with some better people. But we can get you approved with any credit score or no credit score. It doesn't matter. And they told me that they don't verify employment, they don't verify income. I could put anything I wanted on there, and nobody is the underwriters aren't verifying anything. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, I've watched several scenes of The Big Short, and it is like all the exact same shit that I was watching and researching and experiencing leading up to the crash. So I really want to watch the movie now because it's giving. Supposedly, it's based on true events. The Hollywood version of real life. But that'll give me another perspective of what happened in the financial markets there, and what people were doing. So yeah, I may activate my Disney Plus after I finish making this video and just to watch that movie. But I think there's probably some other stuff. I haven't watched any of that new Mandalorian TV show on Disney Plus. They have the Mandalorian, of course, but I think there's a new one based on bounty hunters. Didn't they make a new one? I don't know. I'll have to look and see. I think there's a few things on Disney Plus that I might be interested in watching, so I might reactivate that. We'll see. You know what I could do is turn my YouTube TV off because I don't watch that shit. The only reason I reactivated my YouTube TV was to watch the college football playoffs and the Super Bowl and the NFL postseason stuff. And that's all over and done with, so I could shut that off and turn Disney Plus on. Or I could get like the Hulu Disney Plus combo thing, and that'll give me the live TV. I don't know. I'll think about it. But the point is I've got tons of stuff to do. It's not like I'm sitting here bored off my ass just waiting on a load. I have this truck set up to where it's about as comfortable here as it is at my house. So, what I do in this truck is pretty much exactly the same thing I do at home. The only inconveniences that I have in this truck is I have to walk over to the truck stop to use the bathroom and take a shower, and I don't have a kitchen to cook in. That's pretty much it. So I have to walk over there to buy something to eat, which that's not really a huge inconvenience because at home I normally just order Uber Eats, so I don't have to wait for Uber Eats to show up. I can just walk over there and get it. And they used to have some really awesome taco trucks right here in front of the truck stop, but a couple of weeks ago, supposedly the rumor I've heard is that TA called the cops on them, and the cops have been running them out because basically they were parked right in front of TA, and TA has like 4 restaurants inside the TA. There's a Burger King, a Subway, a Taco Bell, and then they have the Country Pride. So 4 restaurants inside the TA that were competing with the taco trucks, and there was like 3 to 5 taco trucks that would park out here in front of the TA. So I think all the restaurants inside the TA complained about losing business, so they called the cops. And for the last couple of weeks, well, ever since I've been here, the taco trucks haven't been here, the food trucks haven't been here. And I asked the cashier at TA and I asked the cashier at Pilot, and they both basically told me the cops have been running them off. And TA blamed them on. TA didn't admit that they're the ones that called the cops on them. TA said that the cops in this area have just been cracking down on illegal parking up and down the road. But TA screwed up and said that they may have just relocated over in front of the Pilot, which tells me that they're still parking illegally alongside the road. It's just that the cops aren't letting them park in front of the TA, which pretty much tells me that the TA is the one calling the cops on them because they're parked in front of the Pilot now, from what the TA told me. But I haven't been desperate enough to go over there driving around to try to find the taco trucks because I heard they're pretty pricey. Like somebody posted in one of the reviews that they charge $3 for a can of soda. Actually, it's a bottle of soda. $3 for a bottle of soda. So they're not really a good deal. And not Pilot. I'm parked at the Flying J right now, right next to the front of the building. They have bobtail parking right next to the building. And this Flying J has a what is it? Is it a Denny's? And then they have hot food up the front. And the Flying J's hot food is actually pretty damn good. I'm thinking about going over there and get me some right now after I finish this video. I might go get me a shower. It's been a couple of days. But yeah, I'm just sitting around, and as you can see, load alerts are not happening. I haven't gotten any. Like, we've been sitting here for an hour, and the only load alerts that I got were right when I started the video. Those are the only ones I've gotten all day long. And one of them was going to Albuquerque, New Mexico. It required an empty. I can't do that. And the other one was going to Boise, Ohio, Idaho. Um, Wait a second. Was that a load alert? No, that was a text message from an agent. That wasn't even an alert. I think the only alert that I've gotten while I've been making this video was that Albuquerque, New Mexico load. But basically, the only load alerts that I've gotten are loads that I can't or won't do. So, sucks. It sucks. But anyway, I think I'll go ahead and wrap up the video there. My internet connection is really good down here in Laredo. So, that's another thing that's pretty awesome. But I'm starting to get bored with that Chronicon game I just showed you, so I'm on Steam trying to find another game that looks interesting. Tons of time. I have plenty of money. I can buy any game that I want. I can play any game that I want. I have the time to play any game I want, and I don't feel like playing any game. I'm starting to get burnt out. I've been having too much free time, is what's going on. I need to find a load, and I do need to get home within the next couple of weeks. So I will be looking to probably go home after whatever load that gives me a trailer. I have to get a trailer. I have to get a trailer before I leave Laredo. After that, I might just be deadheading home, where depending on where the load is going. I might just deadhead home. Like if I can get a load going up to Dallas, then uh, I might just deadhead home from Dallas. You know what? I'll call an agent while we're on here. Let's go back to the browser. Um, Refresh results. 5 loads. Return to search. I've still got it blocked out, so we're still good. Let's go to Laredo. Yes, I want to discard the current search. Load count 1. Let's go within 50 miles of Laredo. Load count is still 1. Let's leave it on 0 miles. You know what? Let's clear this out. And let's do maximum mileage of 1,500. Load count is 20. Tampa, Atlanta. Centennial, Colorado. Just see if there's any of these that I'm remotely interested in. What other settings do I have set here? I have all hazmat. I even have teams loads listed. I need to change that. But I even have team loads listed. Let's see if that, let's do load count 20. Team, no. Load count 19. So there was one team load in there. Let's get rid of the 2.5 rate per mile. Load count is still 19. Yeah, the 2.5 rate per mile is so ridiculously low. I really do not want to take a load over 1,500 miles from here. Isn't there a map? Isn't there an option where I can see a map to see where that 1,500 mile radius is? yeah, let's click on search, and there we go, map. It should show a circle. Holy shit, 1,500 miles going all the way up to Chicago. Yeah, I definitely want to go shorter than that. Well, what I was thinking about doing was like if I could find a load that I didn't really want to do, but it was kind of like, meh, I might do it. Then I was going to call a broker and ask them if they had any other loads. Empty needed. Yeah, there's not even there's just nothing to even call about. But yeah, hopefully I start getting some damn load alerts. Um, you know what? I was thinking about maybe sending an email to trailer utilization and asking them if I still am unable to get a trailer from them. Double check and make sure that's still their policy. That's a really stupid policy to make me fucking sit around for a week or more waiting for a damn load. And it's months if you get on their empty wait list. You know what? Let me pause this. All right, so I just got off the phone with the LMO terminal. I should have recorded it, but I wasn't sure it was the right number. I just found out last time I was here, and I called the number from the date when I was here last time, and it ended up being her. It's the direct line for the person that runs the empty list. Um, the reason I'm having such a hard time right now is because she said it's worse than it was last time. She said the empty trailer wait list is like months long. If I got put on the empty trailer wait list, I probably wouldn't get an empty for a minimum of a month. She said she has several people on the list, and they've been waiting for quite a while. Um, and I said, yeah, um, I'm trying to do what I did last time, which was just find a preloaded trailer. But almost every one of the preloaded trailers that I'm finding coming out of the LMO terminal have in the comments that they require an empty to pick them up. And she said that that's because Landstar has started allowing the agents to cover those loads or something. I don't understand what she was trying to say, what she meant by what she was saying. I don't understand what she was talking about, but basically she said that Landstar has changed something to help the agents move these loads, um, and it's screwed over the people that are doing drop loads into Mexico. So now all of these loads that normally I would be able to pick up and not require an empty, now they all require empties because of something Landstar did. So now it's an absolute fucking nightmare to get an empty trailer or any load after you do a drop trailer into Mexico. So yeah, this like really sucks. The only loads that I've seen that don't have in the comments that say that they require an empty are loads that are like going to the fucking Bronx, New York, or Staten Island, or they're going up in some snowy mountain pass. They're just like the worst possible loads that you could get, and they're paying dog shit. So yeah, this is worse than I was thinking it was. This is starting to concern me a little bit. I might need to call up Landstar Corporate and rant and rave with the driver advisor about this. Like if I'm not seeing a trailer, a load that I can haul within the next couple of days by the end of this week, then I might call up the driver advisor and raise some hell about some policy changes that they've made that have made it nearly impossible to get a trailer after you do a drop load into Mexico. Um, and like it would be pointless for me to contact trailer utilization directly. They're just like some low level people. They're like the lowest of the low level people in Landstar corporate. Like I don't even think they might be independent contractors, but they can't make any kind of decisions or judgment calls or anything like that. They just do as they're told. So the driver advisors, though, they're pretty high up at Landstar, and they can contact people at high levels, and they can actually get something done. So if this does become a major issue, then my best point of contact would be one of the driver advisors, and ask them if they can't figure something out to get me rolling again. But I'm not to that point yet. We'll give it a couple more days. But as of right now, there is. Let's go back and look. Let me flip this over to the brow. Oh no, let's not flip it over to the browser yet. Let me clear some stuff off of the screen. I've got a list of phone numbers and stuff pulled up here. Let's go to return to search. Let's go to the browser. All right, so we got Laredo, Texas. Let's turn off team. I can't haul team loads. Aside from that, I don't really have much of any limits set on here. Let's get rid of my limitations on where it's going. And I don't have a way to filter by loads that say that they require an empty trailer in the comments. Direct shipper. We already looked at the ones. I showed you that a minute ago where we looked at the ones that weren't listed as direct shipper. There were like four of them, and they all required an empty. We already looked at those. So 56 loads. And I think we already looked through this list. We looked through this a minute ago. And almost every single one of these are by this HEM agency. And pretty much all of them say that they must drop empty trailer in the comments. I wish there was some way to search. Like I wish there was some kind of option on whether or not a trailer was needed. But we've already looked through all these loads. Almost every single one of these are the HEM agency. It's only showing 20 results per page. I forgot to change that option. Let's see here. Every single one of these is HEM except these two. These are LFJ. These two going to Prineville, Oregon. Sergio going to Prineville, Oregon. I am not going to Prineville, Oregon. Screw that crap. But yeah, I've already looked at almost all of these. And they pretty much all have in the comments. Like, I would even be willing to take this load to Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's a pretty big deadhead to my house, but it would be worth it to just get a trailer. But it says right here, preloaded, empty trailer needed. I can't even take that load to Albuquerque. That load to Albuquerque, I would just drive it to Albuquerque, deliver it, and then deadhead to Oklahoma City, which is shit. Albuquerque to Oklahoma City is like 600 miles, but I would do that. If that load, I would book that load right now. That load picks up tomorrow. Huh. Let me think about this. You know what? Let's call Irma. Let me pause this. I'm gonna save the phone number. I'm gonna add a contact. All right, I got that contact saved. What's the weight on this load? 17,000. Make sure I'm recording. Not available. This is the bullshit. Like it's hard enough to find one of these loads, and then you tack on the normal complexities and frustrations of dealing with these fucking agents. Hard to reach, like frustrating as hell. Anyway, I think I better wrap up the video before it goes forever because I'm probably going to be sitting here, making phone calls like that and um, looking through loads for the rest of today and tomorrow and maybe even throughout next week. Who knows when I'm finally going to get a load uh, to get me a trailer. So anyway, um, I'll go ahead and wrap up this video. So I hope you're having a great week, a great year. I hope you're staying out of the weather, and if you are dealing with the winter weather, then I hope you're being safe, and I hope the people around you are being safe because that is probably the scariest thing is the other people on the road. It's dangerous enough, even if you do everything perfect. It's still dangerous to be driving in winter weather. But the other people on the road that are not being safe, they're driving like fucking morons in winter weather. That adds a whole other level of dangerous. So be safe out there, and I hope you don't do anything that ruins your career. So have a good one. Bye.